All right. Thanks for coming out for part two of our preparation remarks for the storm this weekend. So work's underway throughout the system, including at shopping yard locations just like this one, to prepare for the approaching winter storm. These efforts will allow some services to continue after the snow arrives. However, there will be significant disruptions. That's going to include delays, trip cancellations, and likely shutdowns of routes and entire services. But by taking a proactive approach and suspending services before conditions become unsafe, we also greatly reduce the chances that our buses and trains will get stranded or damaged. With our vehicles back at our shops and yards and out of harm's way, our maintenance crews are in a better position to get them ready for the return to service once things normalize after the storm. This is an important part of a recovery, which we will be working on well before the storm ends. For that effort, we'll deploy our full arsenal of snow and ice fighting equipment, some of which you see behind me here. SEPTA has dozens of large blowers, snow throwers, augers, and other pieces of heavy equipment that crews utilize to clear tracks and other critical areas throughout the system. We also have 6,000 tons of salt on hand to spread wherever it's needed at our stations and facilities and even along roadways. In total, our in-house crews and contractor teams will be tasked with clearing 300 parking lots across our 5-county service region, along with platforms and other customer areas. These will be round-the-clock efforts, all with the goal of having service available when our customers need to get back to normal next week. But I want to stress that that does not mean that all service is going to be back and running at normal levels right after the storm passes. We have a massive number of places that we have to clear and treat. And with temperatures expected to remain below freezing in the days after the storm, these tasks become even more difficult. In addition, extreme weather like this is very hard on our vehicles. As you know, we have the oldest rail fleet in the country. It's hard on that as well as our tracks and other infrastructure. I fully expect we will see some equipment problems and need to make emergency repairs, but I am confident that our work crews are ready to handle any issues that come up. But these things are all things that could contribute to service disruptions even beyond the last snowflake. Again, I want to stress, Sunday's going to be a bad day to travel, so please don't venture out unless it is absolutely necessary. We expect that we'll be able to preserve service for the most part on the Market, Frankfort, and Broad Street lines for our essential workers. Continue to check for service updates. We're going to post all this information on our website at septa.org and on the SEPTA app. Just remember, just like the city talked about this morning, we're going to make a commitment to get everything clear and safe and ready for our customers. But it's not all going to happen at the same time, and it's not going to happen just within a couple hours. But we will get to everything. We will clear every lot. We will clear every station. We will make sure that things are safe and ready to receive customers. So thank you for that, and we're happy to take questions.
Can you explain some of the equipment behind you, especially that blower thing?
Do you want to explain some of the equipment, or does Steve want to explain some of the equipment? Go ahead, Steve.
Say who you are.
Yeah, have a Steve.
Hi.
Name and title.
Hi. Steve Humes, Chief Engineer with SEPTA. And this piece of equipment we have right behind us here, our snow blower, our cold air blower attached to a Geesmar crane. It actually rides on the tracks itself, and it's utilized to clear the snow from the third rail and the switches so that the trains can continue to move.
Is there a certain temperature that it's just unpassable to ride rail, regional rail? You know, is there a certain temperature that those rails just freeze and it's impossible to travel?
Yeah, the temperature is not so much the concern as the buildup of the snow and ice, especially for our M line here, formerly known as the Route 100. When the snow gets up above the third rail, we'll lose contact, we'll lose traction power, and won't be able to move. The snow and the ice inside the switch points won't allow those switches to move back and forth and divert trains to where they need to go.
I was reading something that buses are usually the first that can't ride out there in the bad weather. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, buses are typically the first that are affected by a storm like this. We are kind of at the mercy of the same roadways that any other automobile traveler is. So as conditions start to deteriorate on roads and along highways, our buses are greatly affected. The areas around Manayunk, Roxborough that are very hilly, they're usually the first to go. Our buses can't make those hills up or down. So we'll start to curtail that service as conditions deteriorate. There are also going to be turns that we ordinarily would be able to make that maybe we can't make any longer. And then And then really the wild card is the other automobiles. As automobiles get stuck in front of us, it starts to affect buses. It also starts to affect our surface trolley fleet, because the trolleys they run like tanks. They can get through the snow and ice typically better than any automobile can. But if an automobile gets stuck in front of us or is double parked because they can't get close enough to the curb, that really starts to affect our bus and trolley service.
Can you talk about how many extra personnel are going to be out there, especially Sundays a weekend?
Yeah.
We normally have people.
Yeah, so anytime a storm of this nature is, we're an all hands on deck. So we'll have as many maintenance and operating crews as we can have out in the system. Our essential staff that deal with this sort of thing, that's the bulk of our workforce. So we're talking about 60 to 70% of our workforce. So we will have almost anybody who's available, we're going to have them out here. So we're talking thousands of employees that'll be out across the system, as well as contractor staff. We use contractors to clear our regional rail lots, so we'll have contractor staff out and about through the weekend as well. But we'll have all hands. Our command center, which operates much like the city's emergency operations center, that will staff up beginning tomorrow evening and run through the duration of the storm. So our senior leadership will also be on duty through the weekend as well. So yes, it'll be all hands.
How quickly will you update the app or your website as to going Sunday into Monday? It's still going to be snowing.
Right.
People need to get to work on Monday. You know, my kid's going to be taking the train and he usually drives.
Right.
It's going to depend on you.
Yep.
How quickly will that?
Yeah, so we'll update the app actually throughout the duration of the storm. Our social media team, our customer service team is actually part of our command center structure. So they'll update as we go, and we keep those updates fresh all throughout the storm. And even going into recovery, as we start to bring services back, we'll update the website, we'll update the app as that goes and as we bring services back. But I just want to kind of reiterate to our riders, our customers, that it won't be an easy recovery. It won't be as the last snowflake falls sometime Monday morning and by Monday afternoon we're normal. It will take us some time, depending on how much we get and how much it accumulates, and then the temperatures, like Steve mentioned, it's going to freeze. We're going to have a long spell of freezing temperatures. So we're going to have to fight through all that, just like everybody else will. But we'll do our best to bring service back as quickly as possible. All right?
Well, actually, I have one more question.
Yep.
What would you say for riders, kids filling for the burbs? What's some of the more important things you want them to know while you guys are doing this work?
Well, stay informed, number one. If you have to travel, which we encourage anyone who does not have to travel, don't. But if you have to travel, we want to be here for you. But understand that we are going to be dealing with the same conditions that everybody else is. So stay informed. Stay connected to our social media, to our app, to our website. Know what's happening before you leave your house. Plan accordingly. And stay connected. If you're out and about and you're counting on SEPTA to get back to where you left, make sure that you understand what has changed in the time frame that you've been out, because conditions will change and could deteriorate rapidly throughout the day on Sunday. As the calendar changes from Sunday to Monday, again, when you're preparing to do your Monday activities, make sure you're looking again at SEPTA's social media, at our website and our apps, to make sure you're aware of how the service is operating. Stay informed. Stay inside if you can. Don't leave the house, but if you do, we want to be here for you. One other thing I'll stress is safety. Make sure that when you're out and about on SEPTA's network, understand that snow and ice, it's the same everywhere. It's the same on our platform. Use caution. Make sure you're sure-footed. Don't run for anything. Don't approach a moving vehicle. Wait for everything to stop, and use proper cautions in interacting with our service. Dress for the weather. You don't know when things are going to be delayed, so make sure you're dressed for the weather, dressed for some delays, and plan accordingly.
I'm asking for somebody else, not for me. Sorry. Somebody who rides every day said, this morning there were even some slowdowns and things like that. I mean, is that a weather thing already coming into the weekend?
It can be. I don't know precisely what they dealt with this morning, but I will say that when temperatures reach a certain level, we do institute some speed restrictions. It protects the infrastructure. Even though snow and ice doesn't generally affect the infrastructure, like Steve said, but the rising and falling temperatures do. So it expands and contracts the wire and the track. So we have to sometimes we put in speed restrictions to account for that expansion and contraction. All right? Okay. Thanks.